Alright, so this is better. And oh, that's unexpected. We are actually seeing Black Forest in here as the home map for NCs. And well, it's going to be 3v3. Players are just now switching off. So a few people in here. And well, NCs are sticking with Snape, Pedro, and Skittle, whereas VNs are in with Milo, Heimdall, and Dark Knight. And oh well, this is probably going to be one for the long haul. Be fully expecting as we are caught up with the delay. So let's just slow things down to the normal speed in here so that we don't really lag or anything. And let's check around how the players are so far walling. On the left side, Pedro is quite aggressively walling against Dark Knight. As you can see, he's quite close by to his home base, which is definitely going to be advantageous for him quite a lot, especially since he has already captured extra gold mine in here. And definitely, yeah, this is going to be interesting battlefield in here, and it might not be even all that long, Black Forest, because this is really short plays between them. And since they are from opposing teams, this is definitely going to be making for not a long game at all, as I'm expecting. Those two guys will be fighting with each other very soon indeed. Otherwise, a bit of walling still needed to be done in the middle, but there seems to be a bit of a fight between literally all the scouts. 5 scouts in here. Where's the 6th one? I'm not exactly sure, but 5 of them are here. So that's Pedro, Snake, Skittle is just missing. All 3 VNs are in here, so Pedro Scout is basically dead. And there is a bit of a fight on the right side, so Snake is going to be losing the Scout as well. Unless they play this correctly. Yep. This is looking quite bad actually right now for NCs because they are going to be losing the scouts, and that means they will be having a bit limited line of sight. And even though Black Forest is of course played on explored, so we are seeing all the map exactly as the players are, it still means that they will be losing, or rather they will be having fog of war on places where they would definitely like to be having a full line of sight through the scouts. So there might be a bit of a problem for NCs if they are not going to be walled soon enough, which it definitely seems like that they won't be, as there is absolutely nobody coming up, even though there are 5 boars, so nice indeed for the early economy. And well, at the bottom we see that both walls are already up, and the opponents are also quite close by, so this is unusual spawn of Black Forest, I have to say, really. Everybody quite close to each other, and this is this is funny spawn of the pond. That's a pond on a hill. Well, huh. That's kind of funny. I don't really remember seeing this before. This is really something unusual. Not exactly sure if I've seen this before. I definitely do not remember that. But well, let's have a look somewhere else, as Blue is right now coming forward. Pedro is going a bit more into offensive, trying to somehow wall his opponents, and since there is just one scout left from Milo, he is thinking that he can wall quite aggressively against his opponent, basically same as he did at the top, and that will be somewhere around here. I'll be fully expecting, maybe even using this forestry in here. Come on, do you have mill or other loom? Yes, you have. So there wasn't really much of a chance, even with the extra guy to do this. And well, yeah, the ball will be from the green player just on the other side of this, but still this is quite advantageous for the blue player, as he will most definitely be quite closer to the opponent's line of, yeah, for example, trade route in the later game. So, well, usually there's not much to talk about the Black Forest in the early minutes, so let's have a look around the map. Interesting closed off berries in here actually, so that might be a bit of a problem potentially in here, even though he does have the starting berries, so it's not all that crucial, but still, he could have liked some extra berries that are right now, not really his at all. Otherwise, the water patch is having 2 shorefish, so it's not really ideal for docking. So these guys are going to be just finishing with this, with the deer in here. With Heimdall, well, this is nice. It's actually having 4 shorefish, if I see this correctly. Yeah, I do, and that should be worthwhile to dock. That will be definitely a pretty nice bonus for him, so he should be using that sooner rather than later. And so far, it's kind of curious that he isn't, but maybe he didn't see all the fishies. But since we are on Explore, he definitely should have, and well, yeah, he could have made for a bit better start. But I'm thinking that it's not going to be better in all that much, and he should be pretty much fine. Unfortunately for Milo, you can see that he has lost 1 villager. That was the reason why he was actually going for Loom, just I don't know, half a minute earlier. So that was something he wasn't expecting at all. And well, since he's going for luring the boar in here, he should be pretty much fine with the extra hit points and especially the extra armor that he is having through the upgrade. Otherwise, one relic on the left side for VNs, the other ones are somewhere in the middle. There's the second one, bit of fighting on the Wolfie, as he is going to be milling all those 5 boars. Definitely nice to see for Heimdall helping him in the economy. And another relic in the middle, literally a bit closer to NC's, and one on the NC side on the very right side. So yep, quite nice for them. Where is going to be some good trade route? Nothing else, just a bit of wolfies in here. As at the back there are extra sheep, some stone mines, and it's still quite open with the gold and stone mines as well. But looking at the trade routes, they are probably not going to be all that safe, because you could be expecting them from about here, from the ends. This should be made bit more passable through onages in the Imperial Age, and they could be going somewhere up about next to the pond, which is having 1, 2, 3, 4 for shorefish, so also dockable quite nicely. And that will be quite problematic, because if the green player loses the fight in here against NC Pedro, the trade route will definitely be killed, and yeah, that could be really a pretty short game on Black Forest, quite unusually so. Otherwise, the trade route for NCs is going to be coming from, I would be expecting somewhere around here. The bottom. Yeah, you will have to get rid of the gold before trade route is going to be effective. And 12 will be going somewhere at the top. And it's looking slightly safer for NCs than for VNs, but still not really all that long. And also quite vulnerable to potential breach of easy walls. But here, and well, even at the bottom. So yeah, this is not really going to be defensible for too long for either of the teams. Pedro going quite last into Feudal Age with 28 wheelies, so he's booming quite hard. As Celt, Mongols, Spanish are the civilizations for both of these teams, and they are going for basically the same strategy. As at the bottom we are seeing Mongols against Mongols, and at the top we are seeing Celts against Celts, so it's basically a perfect mirror, literally a perfect mirror that will be decided solely by each player's skills. I kinda think that Snake will be liking his position, because he needs to do just the walling about here and here, and he doesn't need to worry about his allies actually getting hammered. But yeah, since we are in a team game, he's going to be minding the match as well, I think. Won't really want his allies to get slaughtered on anything. And there is going to be a blacksmith in the middle for Pedro, as he's having quite extra room in the middle, which will definitely serve for some castle and some military buildings, so that he is close by to his opponents. I'm fully expecting that there's going to be made a room, or rather hole, in the forest line in the Imperial Age through some onagers and such, maybe even just trebuchets to be a bit faster. But this is going to be quite easy and very big surprise for VNs if they are not going to be accounting for any kind of walling about here, which they I think definitely should, as this is quite obvious a weak spot for VN's defense. Otherwise there's going to be a long route in here, so it doesn't really make all that much sense to defend in there. And otherwise, yeah, it's not really going to be all that hard for the players to breach at the top side, exactly as you are expecting. As players are right now joining the castle age, all of them, we are going to be looking where they are actually going to be dropping extra town centers and how many of them. That's going to be signaling the strength of their economies to be. So far it really looks like that Pedro is going to be the one with the strongest economy, and Dark Knight seems to be quite on the same road, and he seems to be really not all that far behind his opponent. 1-2 TC so far, third finish, so that's 3 TCs for the Spanish player in the pocket for NCs, whereas for VNs we are seeing 1 town center second, 3 for the Mongol, maybe expecting even fourth. For the yellow players so far, 1, 2, 3, right next to each other. And since he has built a DC about here, not really ideal, because he's going to be blocking a path for the trade route, as we were talking about it a bit earlier. So they might have to set it up maybe in some other way. Maybe about here, from here to the top. Might not be a bad idea either. This position, which is basically here again going to be quite close to the opponent's through opponent's side of the map, so not really all that safe, but still it's going to be short rather longer, so a bit more effective for NC's. Monastery and Siege Workshop for the blue player, as on the left side of the map we are seeing the Ripple down center with Siege Works coming up as well. Of course we'll be thinking about the same strategies all around the map. 3 TCs for the Spanish in the pocket. And at the bottom, Mongol we have seen 3, and yeah, still not coming up with any kind of force. So it seems like that we are really going to be seeing absolutely everybody playing exactly what we would be expecting. So far though, Pedro isn't building extra TCs, which is kind of interesting. He's content with just one, so he might be going for something a bit different. He's really not going for extra TCs, so he's definitely aiming for very fast advance and overall very fast attack, as he has recognized that his opponent is very close by and really there's not much of a defense for him to be had, and if he can breach him sooner than he is ready, then of course the game might be tilted into NC's favor quite strongly. Let's check if maybe somebody is slinging. I don't really expect that because we haven't seen any coinage or literally any markets whatsoever. And well, here we go. Oh well. Oh, that's a lot of them actually. So goodbye green one, and green should definitely be right now scared because there are a lot of guys coming up, and with the priests behind them, this is almost looking like that he's actually going to be attempting to convert buildings. Yeah, I've seen this this season before, but on Arena. But this could definitely be a pretty big problem for Dark Knight, because if he loses all the military buildings, which is just one so far, and it's not like there are all that many of them, well, he is through Pedro, and he is quite definitely aiming for a very short Black Forest, which is quite unusual to be honest, as usually the games take about an hour plus, well, 2 hours and even longer, are not any kind of exception to the rule. Well, that's a lot of them, of course. We're going to be seeing a bit of an attempted micro, I guessing. Pedro quite nicely spreading them around. Oh. Oh, that was sucky. The one just coming out. Pedro really doing quite a good job with the micro in here. 1-for-1, pretty good trade. And at the bottom, we are not really seeing all that much happening. Just we are making sure that Heimdall is gathering as much stone as he can, as he will be definitely needing it in the fights to come against this opponent, who is also a Mongol. It's like a bit better trading for Dark Knight so far with the micro in here. Heavy blow gold mine and for Skittle, so he's definitely aiming for a good economy with the wheelbarrow for Heimdall, and oh well, pretty good shots right now for Dark Knight. Right, like really good shots. And even though the villager is going to be attempting a repair in here, I'm really liking how Dark Knight is playing this, and he's definitely doing a pretty good job against his opponent, keeping him at bay as much as he can. Yeah, that wasn't really all that hard, as another Siege Workshop is going to be finished just about now. And well, with all those priests, or rather monks, I'm not thinking that even the Scout Cavalry is going to be strong enough. Yep, exactly. That's a pretty big problem right now, because the teal player Heimdall cannot really help him all that much. And since the green player is quite fully breached right about now, this is going to be just up to Pedro to lose this, and Heimdall definitely needs to help him quite a lot. And even though he is not really prepared for anything like that, he should most definitely be doing it. Milo probably as well. He is at still 3 TCs, oh no, already 4, but he is switching into Monastery, University and such, so he is slowly but surely aiming to go for a bit of help to his teammate as well. So far looking, for example, on the economies, we are definitely expecting that Pedro will be the last one with just 42 villages, whereas his teammates Kittle and Snake are already 92 and 94, which is a whole lot better, like seriously a whole lot better than VNs, who are Dark Knight at 63, but Heimdall and Milo are just 81 and 84, so this is going to be quite a big problem if NC Skittle and Snake can basically pick up on what Pedro is doing. And they definitely look like that they will be able to do so, as VNs are going to be distracted helping their teammate Dark Knight at the top, and that will buy extra time for the other new chapter players to prepare themselves for a very deadly attack onto their opponents. But really, nice defense by Dark Knight, who seems to have kind of stop the attack right about now. Put Mangonel Micro all around. Oh, just as I was saying that, that was kind of poor by Green, but he was probably looking somewhere else as he was needed. His attention was needed somewhere else, probably for the economy or something like that. Oh well. Imperial Age is coming in from Skittle, Snay and Milo with a whole lot of extra upgrades, a handguard and Botkin Arrow don't mind for Skittle, so he is preparing of course for the Mongolian Imperial Age with Botkin Arrow and handguard as well on top of that. But handguard, bloodlines, chainbard and armor coming from Milo, so Milo is going to be going for standard Paladins, the Imperial Age. And it's going to be a very nice castle attempted. And it seems like that with the amount of right now Mangonas, which are pretty much higher for the green player, he should be finishing with the castle, and once he does, that's not going to be all that much that Pedro will be able to do against that, and it will be simply just a too strong defense against this kind of attack. I'm now also going into Imperial, so it's almost looking like that actual defense is right now successful, as I'm not expecting that Pedro will be able to do anything at all about here, and it's going to be all up to his teammates if they will be able to somehow finish the opponents right there. You already see the stables in Orange's base. I'm not exactly liking that. He should be setting himself basically right in Pedro's base, because definitely he will be needed here very soon, as I don't expect he will be needed at the bottom all that much. Because quite frankly Pedro is right now kinda half dead through his early attempt, which was nice, but is repelled unfortunately for him. And with Cavaliers coming for both Milo and Snay, well, let's see if the stronger economy from NCs is going to be paying off, as they are still about 10 villages above their opponents. But at the same time, it has to be said that Dark Knight is having almost double of what Pedro is having just about now. At the bottom there is already a bit of a preparation with castles and whatnot and siege workshop. So we are going to be waiting for chemistry bracers and maybe even siege onagers from Skittle as well. Not exactly sure, but he might be actually interested in having them himself, just to be able to tunnel into the opponent's base. He liking it quite a lot, and here we already see the trade setting up exactly where we're expecting from VNs, and the other side so far not seen, but I would be fully expecting that it's going to be somewhere around here. Well, the trade route for the opponents is going to be set up, yeah, on the trade route variant number 2. As at the top, we are already seeing that Milo is setting up himself in the green's base, as he's expecting a full-on double in here, which is exactly coming, and exactly as I said, I don't understand why Snay isn't building his buildings in here already, because he definitely should be, as he won't be able to replace the losses as fast as his opponent, who is already quite nicely camped right next to the battlefield. Yeah, this one Mangona in here, so they seem to be quite aware of the potential threat of this short patch of wood. And the hell advantage is a bit of a problem. Yeah, that's not going to be easy to finish at all. A lot of villages paying with their lives for that. Paladin, Iron Casting, basically, really, Snay and Milo are playing exactly the same. Which is kinda curious if you consider the fact that actually Snay was having a better economy, but it's not true anymore, as Milo has caught up with him and is basically on par, 125, 124. But who has jumped quite a lot ahead is Skittle at 147, whereas Heimdall is still at 127. So that's a pretty huge advantage, and you can already see that it's been reflected in his ability to push through his opponent. Already deleted the castle right next to the wall, which basically means, especially with the amount of trebuchets, you could just easily tunnel through this very short patch of trees in here. It doesn't even need to get rid of the walls, like at all. And with the guard tower coming up as well, yep, it's going to be pretty hard for his opponent Heimdall to gather stone from this position. He should be still having some extra stones somewhere, I think. But where? I don't really see it. Ah, here at the top, but he's already finishing with it. And you can see that he's already stealing kinda halfway through his ally, as this is basically in the pocket position. And that basically means that he is so far running into a bit of a pickle in there at the bottom battlefield. Siege onagers coming from Heimdall, blast furnace for Snay and Skittle, leather archer armor. With Pedro also trying to make some interesting volley in here, but unfortunately he's just about now. Oh, just at the right time breached by the Paladins, as this villager is not going to be finishing with the volley, and this Gull at the top with 1 hit point shouldn't be finishing either. Yeah, that's going to be 1 hit, and goodbye. And the wall is not going to be finished, which is a pretty huge problem, as even though the orange player is quite nicely prepared in here, I don't really expect that there's going to be much that Pedro will be able to supply to the defense in here, as those Mangonos are just now gonna die very soon. With Mangudai's Guardian tactics coming up, the upgrades for the other players, and well, the ends are going to be facing quite a lot of Paladins, because you can see that Pedro has already... Aha, yeah, these are actually converted, sorry. I was just thinking that maybe he's switching to them, which is some kind of possibility, but I don't really expect that all that much. Would be much better off with some Void Traders or potentially Halberdiers against the Paladins of his opponent, who are... how much upgraded? Let's pick a purple one. +2, +3, +4. Whereas the opponents are fully upgraded, +4, 3 and 4. So the purple ones are not really all that great, and they are already moving right into opponent's bases, and they are going to be trying to see what is going to happen in here. At the same time though, as at the top it seems like that it's going for BNs, at the bottom it's most definitely going for NCs, as the teal player has been fully breached, and Skittle is doing a pretty good job basically eliminating him altogether. Even though he does have the extra castles at the top rebuilt, as he was expecting that he's going to be losing this position pretty soon, still he isn't able to deal with it at all, even with all the help that Ian Milo is sending him. As you can see, that also NC Snake is helping at the bottom as well. And yep, quite aggressive castle build to protect this stone mine, which is very crucial in a kind of battles between Mongolian players, and this is going to be a pretty huge advantage for him. And very tough time is coming for VN's Heimdall and even Milo, who is helping him at the bottom quite strongly. And since this is very close by to the trade route, they definitely need to somehow probably wall up in here, but it's not going to be coming to that, as the GG is coming up, as the attack at the top has been successfully stopped. There wasn't really all that much of a push in the first place, but still, Pedro together with Snake were able to defend, and at the bottom, Snake together with Skittle were able to push through quite commandingly against Heimdall. So nicely played, GG, and the match is tied at 1-1. So let's check the achievements, and this was unusually short Black Forest, just 38 minutes game time, so yeah, that wasn't a 2-hour marathon or even longer. Bit of a resource sending, but that was literally at the very end. We have seen that. The 2000 and 1000 of some resources, don't exactly remember which one. But really, the better economy from Skittle, that's exactly what decided the game at the bottom. Better echo than Heimdall, so he was better boomed, faster. He just took into the battle quite a lot faster, and I'm thinking that the Pedro's early attack also played a pretty big role, because it spent a lot of resources on VN side, especially from Milo, and yep, it was really pressure from very early on, quite unexpectedly so, on this kind of map. So, GG.